Mission and message. The president in London, defiant on Iraq, tough on both Israelis and Palestinians, and at the palace, an embarrassing breach of the elaborate security. Arrest warrant. Pop music star Michael Jackson wanted. The charge, child abuse at his Neverland Ranch. Culture wars. A major court decision on same-sex marriage. Suddenly, the presidential candidates are faced with hot-button choices. And JFK remembered the private side of a very public president from an insider who knew him well.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening. President and Mrs. Bush were entertained tonight at a glittering white tie dinner at Buckingham Palace.
At Buckingham Palace this morning, a royal welcome for the visiting president. The national anthem played as the U.S. and Britain sought to reaffirm a mighty alliance once again at war. The war in Iraq has put the president on the defensive, and today, in a speech intended for his critics in Europe, Mr. Bush was defiant, saying Saddam had to be restrained. And even as an increasingly dangerous insurgency claims more U.S. soldiers, the president insisted that the U.S. will not walk away from Iraq early.
We did not charge hundreds of miles into the heart of Iraq and pay a bitter cost of casualties and liberate 25 million people only to retreat before a band of thugs and assassins.
While Mr. Bush said he respected principled opposition to the war, he was also tough on European leaders who sought to block the invasion. He reminded them that U.S. soldiers died to free Europe from tyranny in World War II, and argued that the threats of today will not be overcome by empty resolutions from the United Nations.
Let us never forget, beyond Europe's borders, in a world where oppression and violence are very real, liberation is still a moral goal, and freedom and security still need defenders.
At no time, however, did Mr. Bush mention the primary rationale for war, claims that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, which have not yet been found. Mr. Bush also had strong words for European leaders about the Middle East peace process, condemning them for supporting Palestinian President Yasser Arafat and calling on them to take a strong stand against recent anti-Jewish violence.
Europe's leaders, and all leaders, should strongly oppose anti-Semitism, which poisons public debates over the future of the Middle East.
The president also criticized Israel for building a fence that could block a final peace plan and failing to dismantle settlements on occupied lands. Back at the palace, the formal end of the day. The president entails at a banquet in his honor.
But outside Buckingham Palace tonight, the state visit is hardly a reason for celebration. The demonstrations against Bush are growing and are expected to reach 100,000 people by tomorrow.
Nevertheless, the Queen raised her glass to the president, saying even disagreements between Americans and Britons cannot spoil a special relationship. David Gregory, NBC News, London.
At the same time in London today, there was a shocking account of how easy it is to breach the security at Buckingham Palace, where the president is staying. He could have had his breakfast served by a newspaper man posing as a servant. NBC's Donna's royalty of a different sort, the self-proclaimed king of pop, Michael Jackson. One day after authorities conducted a day-long search of his California ranch, he was charged with multiple counts of sexual assault on a child. A disturbing new chapter in what is already a very controversial story. More tonight from NBC's Kelly O'Donnell.
From superstar to criminal suspect.
An arrest warrant for Mr. Jackson has been issued on multiple counts of child molestation. The bail amount on the warrant has been set at $3 million.
The search at Jackson's Neverland Ranch lasted more than 14 hours. 70 investigators combed the 2,600-acre estate, videotaping inside every building. New tonight, Santa Barbara officials revealed they also executed 2 more search warrants yesterday. While the clock is running for Jackson to turn himself in, authorities concede they don't know exactly where the 45-year-old is. He may be in Las Vegas, where he was shooting a video. But his spokesman says arrangements have been made to return to Santa Barbara, calling allegations outrageous in a statement saying in part, Michael would never harm a child in any way. These scurrilous and totally unfounded allegations will be proven false. This is not the first claim of sexual misconduct. In 1993, a 13-year-old boy accused Jackson of molestation. His family filed a civil lawsuit. Jackson settled, always maintaining his innocence. The boy then refused to cooperate with police. No charges were filed. Today, Santa Barbara officials say this criminal investigation will be helped by a change in California law. One prompted, they say, by Jackson's own history of alleged inappropriate behavior.
Was changed specifically because of the 1993-94 Michael Jackson investigation. The law in California at that time provided that a child victim could not be forced to testify.
Today, officials make clear this time is different.
There is no anticipation that there will be a civil case filed in this particular case. And the last reason that this is different in this particular case, we have a cooperative victim.
Authorities say for now, this criminal investigation will not affect Jackson's custody of his 3 children. Widely criticized last year when he dangled his youngest son over a hotel balcony in Berlin. Tonight, Michael Jackson's judgment is again in question. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And joining me now with more on what we can expect on the legal front, NBC's chief legal correspondent, Dan Abrams. Dan, what's the latest?
Well, Tom, once Jackson turns himself in, then the district attorney has 72 hours to file formal criminal charges. Jackson would then be arraigned in court, the charges read, and he might be asked to enter a plea. At this point, we don't even know how many charges will be filed. We do know that the California child molestation statute provides for punishment of up to 8 years on the first count and likely up to 2 years on any additional ones. Now, many wondering tonight about Jackson's 3 children. Given the charges, will they be taken away from him? The answer is maybe. Child Protective Services would have to be convinced that there is a, quote, substantial risk the child will suffer serious physical harm or is in immediate danger of physical or sexual abuse. Now, since Jackson's the sole guardian, legal experts say a strong case could be made to immediately remove the children from Jackson's care, or at least to ensure that he's supervised when with them. But it's not automatic. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Dan Abrams tonight. And some more fallout from today's event. CBS announced it is canceling a Michael Jackson special that was set to air a week from today. A spokesman said, given the gravity of these charges, it would be inappropriate to broadcast the entertainment special. Still ahead tonight, the debate over gay marriage. How big an issue will it?
Viewer discretion.